I'm Mahdi Shaheeb Sher. My website is www.shaheeb.com. I think one of my interests in the world is industrialization. I think that the world does have a large capacity and potential to industrialize. I think if we were to follow the example of Europe and the rest of the world, including America, then the rest of the world can industrialize like Europe and America have done, and they can increase their economic capacity by a considerable amount. I think that there is potential for the world to maybe increase its economic capacity by a further 400% if other countries were to industrialize around the world, similar to Europe and America. I think that if countries such as China, India, Japan, and maybe Korea and Vietnam and other countries industrialized like Europe and America have done, then there would be more sophisticated and advanced forms of economics within countries and nations. There would be more developed economics. And I think that with these economics, that the world can develop with more enhanced prosperity and wealth. I think we can study the wealth of nations with industrialization. I think we can incorporate industrialization with the wealth of nations, and think in this we can increase the wealth of the world, the prosperity of the world, so that we're able to introduce new services, public services, and other services that exist for the benefit of people. And I think that's the ultimate benefit of prosperity to achieve with more advanced economics. I think that the world can develop its economic capacity, its potential, and its infrastructure, and the way it earns money and develops wealth within its nations. I think that if nations were to follow the example of Europe in how they have industrialized their own nations within Europe, um, then we can look at advanced economies similar to Europe with other nations such as India and China, and perhaps various other countries in Africa and Latin America as well. I think Canada has industrialized and Australia has industrialized as well. But we do have many countries around the world that haven't industrialized yet. And I think that they can also take the initiative to industrialize. They can, by all means, read a book about industrialization of nations. I think we can have the means to industrialize in very simple and cost effective ways with perhaps food crops and potatoes. We can industrialize with potatoes or other food crops. So I think that it is very cheap and cost effective to industrialize, and countries should make it a national goal and maybe even a patriotic goal to nationalize and industrialize their nations. And I think if we can do that with every country in the world, then we can increase the combined economic capacity of the globe, the global economy, its economy, and the global economy with an increased capacity in excess of what it stands at the moment. I think the economic capacity we have in the world at the moment, it takes for granted the benefit of Europe and its friends having industrialized, but not much of the rest of the world having followed that example. And I think if the rest of the world was to also follow that example of industrialization, then we can have more economic prosperity throughout the world with lots of new nations, with lots of nations. And I think this combined prosperity, this combined wealth can allow more services to develop for the benefit of people. We can have more welfare programs, more housing and accommodation programs. We can have more employment programs, more food and subsidies for people. We could have more education programs. We can have a host of services that take as a benefit the combined economic prosperity of the world from enhanced economic prosperity with nations industrializing their nations for the greater good of the world and for the greater good of their countries. Thank you very much.